Since breaking onto the scene, Staccato has developed a cult-like following. When I was picking mine up, a guy came up, scurried over and said, "Whoa, is that a Staccato? I love mine. You're gonna love it." Now, despite the massive cult following and all the hype around the pistol, there is one big question: is it worth it for you? And today on Administrative Results, we're gonna answer exactly that. Bill drill. Don't do it, Spider. Not yet. Now what I want you to do, slowly pick up the pistol by its grip. No. By the grip. You've seen too many movies, Spider. Now raise it to the ceiling. Point it at the ceiling. Very good. Now, slowly point the pistol at me. Good. Keep going. Dispatch. Show house clear. What you don't understand about the streets is they belong to me. UK Armed Police! Right, mate. Didn't pay your TV tax, did ya? Oh. Now, the company Staccato used to be STI, and they've changed hands and ownership several times over the years. Now they are finally called Staccato. I believe the change was in 2019, 2020. Staccato being a reference to an Italian note of music. I don't know music, but I do know the sound a gun makes when it hits a steel gong. Some call me an artist. Ah, there you go. That feels like 100 yards. Not a good one. Now, Staccato is a 2011. If you're unfamiliar with what a 2011 is, essentially you have a 1911 that's a double stack and it takes 9mm. It's the simplest rundown I can give you. There's some more nuances to it, like a detachable pistol grip from the frame. Essentially, double stack 9mm, that's a 1911. The 1911 has been a tried and true platform that many a government goon has carried in the line of service. You can trace it all the way back to, of course, World War I, and it would still be in service, technically, I'm sure, here and there today. The most famous one, of course, being M45A1 off the top of my head, chambered in .45 ACP that was used by the Marine Corps, as well as a bunch of other government agencies used it before switching over finally to 40 cal and then to 9mm. So 9mm, due to how good it is now ballistically and the amount of ammo you can carry and the recoil control, has essentially dodoed the 45 ACP and the 40 cal. Now, a lot of agencies and government entities look to carry 9mm, military, law enforcement, and chances are, you, a concerned citizen who cares deeply about the Second Amendment and our God-given right to self-defense. So that's essentially a quick, nitty-gritty, super fast history. I'm not a history teacher, but I'd probably fail you regardless. So with Staccato being so new to the scene, there actually isn't a lot of pop culture references for the gun yet. There's only two real big ones I could find on IMFDB. They're kind of like my cheat sheet because I love firearms and I love when they integrate into pop culture because I believe that makes new firearms owners. It's just starting the little inception mind virus in all of our heads. Now, the big one that I really enjoy is the mayor of Kingstown, funny enough. In that show, a lot of those guys are running Staccatos. I think the main SWAT guy is running a Staccato XE, which is pretty cool. And then the second one would be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the more recent one. The one that's like slide cancel city, and I'm too old to play now, sadly. It's not called a Staccato in the game, I'm sure due to licensing, but pretty much it looks like a Staccato. So that's kind of cool. Now the mayor of Kingstown, pretty fun show. A lot of those high-speed guys running the Staccato, they're SWAT teams. I thought that's neat. Their SWAT team in that show was like a death squad. I mean, they definitely broke some rules, but hey. That's showbiz, baby! So what is my relationship to Staccato? So essentially, they reached out, they said, hey, we want to send you a handgun. Which one do you want?
Can you bring me the gun of Rambo?
And I was like, I'll go with the Staccato P. P is kind of like their all-round go-to duty carry gun. It's kind of like the same size as a Glock 17-ish. So they sent me the gun, I snagged it. There was no exchange of money whatsoever. They sent it for free, as well as they sent some ammo to use. Staccato also makes ammo, I didn't know that. Now on here, I have the Acro P2, as well as a Surefire X300 Turbo. And I want to give a big thank you to Optics Planet for sending the Turbo over. They've been helping out a bunch. Gentlemen, videos like these are made possible thanks to sponsors such as Americana pipe trim apparel. Fantastic young Zoomers getting after it in the milsurb space and arena. They have helped my wardrobe out for the LARP multiple times, and they want to help your wardrobe out as well. They have a bunch of Turkish camo in, those goddamn Turk camos. They also have a bunch of other cool stuff, knives, night vision, manuals. I would encourage you to go check them out, and I appreciate them greatly for sponsoring Administrative Results. So I've had this gun now for a number of months. I have been concealed carrying it. I have been doing extensive range use with it. I have yet to clean the handgun, and we probably have, I would say the round count is easily into the thousands with the gun. I have shot this thing a bunch, and it is actually a really fun gun to shoot. Where's the Holy Grail? Oh! What's coming at me, dude? I kind of got a slight 2011 bug thanks to the platypus. If you haven't seen my platypus video, you can go check that out. But I did kind of like want to check out the Staccato because there was so much hype around it. A lot of my friends would end up picking Staccato. Even guys I knew in law enforcement would grab Staccatos. And that's a big thing about Staccatos, that they were coming for the law enforcement market. The law enforcement market is actually a really interesting one to try and tap into for a handgun manufacturer. You got to think there's, if we round up, 850,000 police officers in the United States. A Staccato retails probably north of $2 easy, and that's not including all the optics and light package that you can get. Now, I'm sure a police department would go with some bulk deals where it'd probably bring the price down, but in theory, Staccato is still tapping into a multi-billion-dollar market. I know law enforcement can be a controversial topic within the gun world. I totally get that. If anyone's going to tread on your rights, it'll probably be them. But if they're doing their job right, they should be defending your rights. But there's the way we want things to be, and there's the way things are. Now, that being said, the Staccato is kind of a cool weapon to equip to a government employee. I find that kind of impressive. And what I mean by that is typically when it comes to agencies, they'll go for the most reliable gun they can at the cheapest cost. That's why you see a lot of Glocks, a lot of MMPs. And then of course, departments will allow officers, I'm speaking to the cop world, they'll allow officers to carry what they can qual with and what they deem a quality firearm. To see an agency equip their guys with Staccatos is kind of cool because it means they probably care about their guys a little bit more than just giving them Glocks. Now that's not to crap on the Glock product, because I used a Glock and I think Glocks are awesome. I think Glocks are great. If anything, they're a fraction of the cost of what a Staccato would be. So for this setup, I think including with the 5 mags that I have, this kind of setup is going to run you around $3,800. It's kind of expensive. It gets up there. It's a lot of doubloons, a lot of cheddar, it's a lot of cheese, a lot of cash. Staccato does offer discounts for the platform for both active LE and non-active LE. So that is kind of neat for those guys that are doing their thing out there, as well as first responder and military stuff. So I do like that. And the warranty they have is rather interesting. So if you were a police officer and you got into an OIS and your gun's off to the evidence locker, Staccato will send you free of charge a new weapon, which I think is rather nice. They told me they don't include optics or lights, so that's kind of a bummer. But at least you cover a massive chunk of the cost there. So when I think about handguns used in the law enforcement world, a handgun to a cop is kind of like their main lifeline until they can get to their rifle, because typically for law enforcement, they're out, they're doing things, they may be away from their patrol car where their rifle is. So a good handgun matched with proficient handgun skills is very important. Now, as someone that was a prior law enforcement, I can tell you that not a lot of cops have really good handgun skills. There are some great shooters that are LE, but there are also a bunch that are really bad. So just because you buy your guys really cool weapons doesn't make them really good. Now, I'm going off on a tangent because mainly this video is about the Staccato, mainly the Staccato P. I only have a sample size of 1 today. $9,099. If Elon Musk ever gets around to making the AI sex robots, which I'm sure he will, I'm going to buy one. First, teach it the ways of Christianity, and second, make it load my ammo. And then run off with it and leave my wife and child behind. In case you can't decipher, that was a joke. All right, real quick, I want to do a mag dumb test to see the grouping and speed. We don't have the shot timer out here because it has vanished thanks to the gnomes living around my house. We can just put in a timer in the editor, so we'll just do that. And another control factor is I've been shooting the Staccato all of the time we've been out here, and I haven't shot the Glock yet. So the group may favor the Staccato. All right, about a 5-yard standoff. I think my group is way tighter with the Glock 17. There's the group there. Staccato group right there. I feel like the Staccato was faster. I had a little bit of a hiccup in a Charles. All right, we'll do a little redemption run on the Staccato, see if we can't catch up. All right, you know what? That one was a little bit better. The length of travel from top round to bottom round, looks like there may have been 2 mics involved, unless 2 got low. there's only 15 rounds there, so there may have been 2 mics if it's a 17 round rounds with Staccato, or the 17 round mags with Staccato. So about the same. All right, answering everyone's long-awaited question: will the Staccato mag fit into the Glock 17? No. Will the Glock mag fit into the Staccato? Kind of, but no. You're welcome. So on the topic of reliability about the handgun, I don't think I had many malfunctions. I think I may have had 1 or 2, and I can't recall them too well. Maybe a failure to feed properly, but a quick tap rack fixed it. Stuff like that. That's the only thing I can think of. And then there is the issue with the drop testing. We saw that it failed Garantham's most recent drop test video at the time of filming this. So that is something to consider. I still think the gun's pretty reliable. That being said, considering how much I've shot it, not cleaned it, I haven't really abused it too much. So that's on me. If you're like, hey, why aren't you doing a hardcore mud test? Alley-oop you over to Grantham. I think he did a mud test with the Staccato as well. So funny enough, when it does come to 2011, the Staccato isn't even the most expensive out there. There are much more expensive 2011 platforms on the market you can get. I do think it's the most expensive duty variant of the 2011 family. So I will say it does feel like a pretty high quality gun. Now there are things that I like about the gun, and there are things that I don't like about the gun. Now things that I do like about the gun. Well, hold on. Pros or cons first? Which one do you want? All right, so things that I do like about the gun. So the gun feels really good, and that's something you would hope for the price tag that you would pay for. Now the gun in the hand, I really enjoy it. Me personally, I like the feel, I like the trigger, I like the buttery smoothness of it. The gun feels freaking good. Despite me not cleaning it yet whatsoever, I have really enjoyed just how buttery it is. And it is bone dry pretty much right now. Probably use a good spray down of some lube. Lube this thing up, dude. Trigger squeeze, really nice. I like the manipulation of the 1911 like style of gun, where you have the grip safety as well as the ambidextrous. On this one, we have the ambidextrous safety lever. I like that a lot. So overall, I will say everything about the gun feels pretty good, which is something yet again you would hope for the price tag. I'll give him props, taking the mag base plate off, super easy. And I just got the debris out of there because having rocks in your mags is suboptimal. So 2 more things that I like about the gun would be the bull barrel and the recoil system. So the nice thing is with the bull barrel, it has to do with accuracy, heating up over time, and it's just like a very sought after thing in handguns. Everyone loves their bull barrels and handguns. The recoil system is really nice because it's encapsulated. You don't need a tool when dealing with this recoil system, so it makes it a lot easier when cleaning, when you break down the handgun. Not hard whatsoever. I like that because you're dealing with government employees, so it's smart on Staccato's part to make the gun as simple as possible when dealing with government employees. Now there is something to be said, and I've talked about it before. It's like a weird X factor about a cool handgun. You do feel cooler when you own a cool handgun. It's stupid, but it's true. Sometimes material possessions do give you an extra little bit of swagger to you. So that X factor, I know it's kind of dumb and cringe. I would argue it's a real thing. You let me know in the comment section down below. When we watch action movies, how often does the main character have like just a bone stock Glock 19? It doesn't really happen anymore. You typically now with the more cool shooter movies that we get, they all have a tricked out cool handgun. Even the bad guys sometimes have really cool handguns. So there's something to be said about that. Back to when I was a young dumb beat cop, I probably would have felt cooler if I owned a Staccato myself. I probably thought I would be the man. Oh, look at my cool handgun that I'm rocking on patrol. I rocked the Glock 17 and it served me very well. That being said, would I have enjoyed a Staccato? Probably. There are departments picking up Staccatos like their whole department. And that's something that I find really interesting with the development of firearms culture and tech. We used to be the whole Glock world, now they're getting a much more competition from these other companies. I kind of like that. I think that's fun. Now the things I don't like. It's mainly monetary things all about the gun with some features on the gun. Big thing about the feature I don't like about the gun is how high the optic mount sits. Another thing I don't like would be the weight. Fully loaded, the gun weighs 3 pounds. So another thing about the gun, when I got it, it came with a flared mag well. I was like, let's see if I like it or not. I didn't like it on the Platypus and I didn't like it on the Staccato, so I ditched it. I had to order a new pin that was more flush after taking the flared mag well off, and now I enjoy it much more. Not a big flared mag well guy. That's just me. Now, the big thing about Staccato that everyone talks about, and of course that I will harp on, is the price point. Now, when I was checking out their website, I was looking at the reviews. For whatever reason, I found myself looking at the user reviews, and for the most part, it was all like 5 stars. There was one weird like 4-star review where the guy was like, I bought this Staccato thinking it was gonna be way better than my Glock. Turns out, I shoot my Glock just as good, 4 stars. That make any sense?
Yes.
I don't get it. It's kind of funny, but I like it. I got a Staccato and I thought, wow, I'm a much better shooter now. Crazy, I paid my way into a better shooting position. Or did I? Turns out, still suck. So that's kind of a thing in the gun world where guys will think that they can buy skill and performance. Even today when I was shooting, I was like, man, I'm still missing the target here and there, but I'm also being kind of silly and goofy. Like I'm not running like a real qual. Hey, Corn! Shot fired! Shot fired! Swear to God, that was a suppressed pistol. All around, it's very expensive. At this configuration with an Acro P2, the mounting plate, and the Surefire X300 Turbo, and then a spare mags, you're looking at like $3,800 for a handgun. $3,800, that's almost double a mortgage payment. That's a lot of money just for a handgun. So this is where it comes into the question of, is it worth it for you? So there's two trains of thought that I go into with this for both yes and no, is it worth it for you? I'm not trying to like be a professional fence sitter here, but there is kind of like, it's finances, really? So if you're someone that's already balling on a budget, maybe you're a younger guy, maybe you're an older guy with a big family, and you have a lot of bills and you're looking at a $3,800 bill to trick out your Staccato as is, probably not gonna be worth it for you if you're looking for a handgun for self-defense. You can get a stock Glock if that's the case. That's gonna be very good, gone through a rigorous R&D. Is it as sexy and elegant as a Staccato? No. Is it still gonna reliably protect you? Yes. Pretty straightforward and simple. The matter of fact, I would say, is that as a civilian, right, as a concerned citizen, I prioritize your safety very highly. But the matter of fact is that you, statistically speaking, aren't going to be responding to a bunch of situations where you're going to need a high-performing handgun. That being said, there is nothing wrong with having a high-performing handgun. This comes back into your budget and what you can afford. If you're like putting yourself into a massive amount of credit card debt just for a handgun, why? You can get a really good handgun for a fraction of the price compared to a Staccato. Now, I'm all about you guys having the best tools in your kit that you can have, but there is the matter of fact of budget. That's a realistic thing that we all have to worry about. That being said, on the other end, where your job is expected to show up to a bunch of situations where your handgun is your primary tool, where it's literally your job, you signed up and you said, yeah, I'll enforce the law, and your handgun is what you have on you 100% of the time while you're doing your job, I think a Staccato is not a bad idea. I mean, it's a really high-performing gun. You can put a lot of rounds down range very quick, very accurately. I mean, well, that part's on you as the shooter. We're dealing with cops. Acorn, oh! Shot fired! Shot fired! Shot fired! That is kind of my thought process on it. Yet again, I have no problem with the idea. I'm not trying to like say, hey, you don't need a Staccato. I don't know why I would say that. This is just like my realistic brain kicking in, right? I don't care about like, oh, Staccato sales are going up. I don't care about that. That's stupid. What I do care about is you getting the best bang for your buck, right? This video is more of like, we're really taking a hard look at the Staccato and seeing like, all right, is it really worth it? You know, if you have budgetary concerns, $3,800, dude. I can't stress that's a good chunk of change for that entire setup. Oh, another downside I don't like would be the mags. Mags themselves, nothing that they're not high quality, it's just that they're expensive. It's like if you drop this mag and you forget it, you just left like 60 or 70 bucks on the ground. So that is kind of a bummer. I think they're a high quality mag. They do the job, no complaints there, minus the price. All my biggest complaints in this video have to do with the price of the weapon system itself. I do think you're getting a good product for the price. I would definitely hope so at that tag compared to the competition on the market. Are you boring? Are you unoriginal? Do you want to stand out from the crowd? Well, the easiest way to do that, drop a lot of money on a Staccato. Staccato, Italian for bull. Is that right? Staccato, Italian for a sharp note. So ultimately where I'm at in the Staccato, I don't think I would buy another one outright. I'm happy they sent me one for free, which is cool. I am a little bit spoiled in that sense. Now, where I kind of see the gun is it's like the premier duty handgun for law enforcement. I kind of see it in that sense. I don't see myself taking into like trench warfare in the hypothetical, right? Loading it in my kit and going to the trenches of some foreign conflict where things just go awry. I mean, in good conditions where you're just working the road or you're doing an everyday carry, I don't think Staccato is a bad option though. So this was essentially me yapping about the gun, probably stuff you've heard before, maybe you haven't. I don't know, but I'm doing my thing. I thought this was a fun little thing to look at. I was excited to get a chance to look at this gun. I'm thankful that Staccato would send one out to show off to you guys, knowing that I would roast some things and then I'd praise other features. So it's a good, honest day of work. Someone's got to do it. As always, gentlemen, I have nothing else for you. I will catch you on the flip. Godspeed. I know I caught you on the toilet drinking your coffee, eating your beer. Make sure you like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Your comments are a sacrifice to the algorithm god. A god who enjoys your interactions and helps fight the YouTube overlord censorship. Hey guys, Global Gravity Defense Dynamics here. Today we're going over a new method of shooting that's been popping up out in the world from the high-speed cool guys. Been taking that data back, transcribing it to make it applicable to you guys. So check this out. It's called lowering your base of gravity when it comes to pistol shooting as much as possible. Fit! So what you saw there is my center of gravity is so low, it's now riding on the global gravity of the Earth.